जय गुरुजी। ओम नमः शिवाय, शिवजी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय, गुरुजी सदा सहाय। गुरुजी, आपका बहुत शुक्राना मुझे आज एक मौका देने के लिए, आपका सत्संग शेयर करने के लिए। इट्स अ प्रिविलेज एंड ऑनर टू बी ए पार्ट ऑफ द संगत टू शेयर गुरुजी सत्संग। सुरेश वासन अंकल, आपका भी बहुत शुक्राना कि आपने मुझे एक मौका दिया है आज सत्संग शेयर करने के लिए। So I will start from the very beginning about this beautiful journey with Guruji. Guru bin gor andhar, Guru bin samajh na aave. This was exactly what I was going through in 2019 when I first heard the name Guruji in my life. So usse pehle life was at rock bottom. Kyunki I had just gone through a divorce in my life. What happens with that is you go through a lot of emotional turmoil. You've been with a family for a long time. Now you're on your own. You're dealing with a lot of things. You lose a lot of friends. You have a lot of stories that are said about you. So ये सब चल रहा था. And मैं actually शिरडी साई बाबा की follower थी. So to start my life all over again, I got a job in Chennai and I moved to Chennai. It was a familiar city for me. मैं पहले वहाँ रह चुकी थी मैं अपने फैमिली के साथ and I have a lot of friends there. तो मैं वहाँ शिफ्ट हो गई चेन्नई. वहाँ मुझे एक हॉस्पिटल में नौकरी मिली. तो जब वहाँ हॉस्पिटल में नौकरी मिली, I took up an apartment for rent and मैं अकेली रहती थी. I used to feel extremely lonely. बहुत lonely feel करती थी. बहुत समस्याएं थी. बहुत things that I was dealing with was like day-to-day basis of a very big struggle. So मैं बाबा को रोज अरदास करती थी कि बाबा you have to come, you have to hold my hand, वरना I will land up in an asylum one of these days. It was really a hopeless kind of a feeling emotionally. Otherwise I was comfortable. तो मेरी फ्रेंड्स वहाँ पे जो है रीटा आंटी और वीरेन अंकल. So first time Rita auntie told me about Guruji and she said, Anu, would you like to come for a satsang? So जब life में इतना hopelessness होता है तो naturally one is ready to do anything. Like, you're waiting to be held by the ultimate, which is divinity. You're seeking for that kind of solace from him. So I went for a satsang with Rita aunty and Viren uncle and it was absolutely peaceful. It was in the afternoon. She had told me the protocol about a satsang, kya hota hai wahan pe, about chai prasad, everything. Rita aunty had told me before going to the satsang. So I followed everything. और उसके बाद क्या हुआ, जब शबद वाणी चल रही थी, मुझे, I fell asleep, fast asleep I was. It was so peaceful. उसके बाद जब आंटीज ने सत्संग शेयरिंग किया, I found that extremely astonishing that, even in this day and age that such miracles happened. So that was the end of it. और उसके बाद I had to come back to Bangalore for Ganesh Chaturthi, so I didn't think too much about the satsang. But since like I said, I was working with a hospital called Hindu Mission Hospital in Tambaram. Anybody is familiar with Madras, you'll know that this hospital is doing a lot of work for the poor people. And it's a very old hospital. So मेरी responsibility वहाँ पे ये था कि I had to go and do fundraising for the hospital because some patients, most of the patients were treated free of cost, and unless, it was very expensive treatment, then they were charged nominally. So it was very important कि मैं अपने hospital के लिए fundraising करूं through corporate social responsibility. And that was a big responsibility. And I was reporting to the founder of the hospital who was 87 years old. So his school of thought was very, very different in the sense, तुम सुबह सुबह उठो, अपना नाश्ता और लंच लेके हाथ में चलना शुरू करो माउंट रोड पे. दैट्स व्हाट ही यूज्ड टू टेल मी. एंड आई यूज्ड टू टेल हिम, सर, कि ऐसा नहीं होता है आजकल, क्योंकि अपॉइंटमेंट लेके जाना पड़ता है. बट ही वुड नेवर लिसन. So I was working on a very difficult circumstances. मैं उबर लेके हर कोने जाती थी, like in Chennai, factories, corporates, name it, startups, then Rotary clubs, women's associations, BNI clubs, everywhere to build my contacts to start fundraising. But success doesn't come that easily because everybody has their own cause to give money to. So ऐसा चल रहा था. So after I attended the satsang, the first satsang, and I came back from Bangalore after Ganesh Chaturthi, मैंने किसी को चेज नहीं किया, किसी से फॉलो अप नहीं किया. बट एक आदमी who had heard about the work of Hindu Mission Hospital approached me and said, I want to come and visit your hospital. वो आए, बिना मांगे उन्होंने बड़ा सा एक चेक लिख कर दिया. I was quite shocked. I didn't even request, nothing. And this somehow connected the dots to the satsang, because I had heard about so many blessings which we called miracles those days, but they're Guruji's blessings. So I called Rita Aunty and said, this is what has happened. It's Guruji's blessing, I'm sure. And she said, of course it is Guruji's blessings. And she gave me a pendant to wear. She said, you go to all these dangerous places alone with Ubers, और तुम इतना हार्ड वर्क करती हो, you wear Guruji's pendant, he'll protect you all the time. तो मैंने गुरुजी का pendant पहना. अभी क्या हुआ, after this incident happened with me, I started listening to satsangs on YouTube. This used to be my passion. रोज शाम ऑफिस से आना एंड सत्संग लगाना यूट्यूब पे, और रैंडमली किसी का सत्संग सुनते रहना टिल आई स्लीप एट नाइट, एंड सुबह उठना और शब्द लगाना. So this became my life, and I don't know when it turned into, like, that feeling of hopelessness started to change suddenly. I used to look forward to attending satsangs, or wherever in Chennai there was a satsang, I would run for it. Most of the time with Rita Aunty and Viren Uncle, but even if they didn't come, I would go and attend satsangs. And it was a very, very beautiful journey. And slowly things started to move in life. You know, when I started to realize that so many things are happening with me, and the beauty of this journey, agar main kahun, it's not about seeing miracles of every day. It's about the transformation Guruji brings about in our lives. Like, you know, in the past, where I used to be listening to Bollywood songs, old songs, everything shifted to shabads. And the curiosity about knowing who is Guruji, about the Sangat's experiences about Guruji's, being in Guruji's Darbar and experiencing that, used to really, really interest me, and I used to keep listening to satsangs. So I'll share the satsangs that happened with me. I have shared this on various platforms, but it's a repetition. But anyway, Guruji used to make us repeat our satsangs. किसी के लिए message होता है उसमें. So I'll just share 2 work satsangs. So एक बार मैं outskirts of Chennai गई थी, again to raise funds, and यहाँ पे security guard नहीं था, एक standalone building था. तो उस बिल्डिंग में जब एंटर करने वाली थी तो 2 कुत्ते मेरे पीछे पड़ गए, stray dogs, and they started barking. They looked so aggressive, and immediately my thought was, Guruji, mujhe bachao, please help me, please help me. That was my prayer, because I thought they're going to bite. And all I did to protect myself is to keep my bag between the dog and my leg, because the dog was so close to me. As I was entering the building, the compound of the building, the dogs became even more aggressive. So I thought, finished. So I better not go inside now. So slowly I started coming out of the building, and I started walking on the road again, because I had come by Uber. I didn't have a vehicle. So जब मैं रोड पे चल रही थी, I met a lady, and I told her, I said in Tamil, I told her, Amma, I want to go inside this building, but these dogs are, not allowing. So she said, don't worry, come with me. And she chased the dogs away. So and she went away. So जब मैं अंदर गई, एक आदमी वहां से आया अंदर से, and he said, मैडम, आपको क्या चाहिए, आप यहाँ क्यों हैं? So I said, I've come, I gave my introduction, I've come to pay funds, wo sab kuch. And then I said, I want to meet somebody. He said, you can't meet anybody here. आप सिटी में जाइए, वहां मध्य कैलाश टेम्पल, आप जानते हैं शिवा का टेम्पल, उसके पास हमारा मेन ऑफिस है. आप वहां जाइए, आपको वहां कोई मिलेगा और आप उनसे बात कीजिए, आपका काम हो जाएगा. But having come this far, and he went away. So having come this far, I thought I should at least leave my reports, annual reports with them, somebody in the office here, and see what I can do. So I climbed the stairs. As I was going up the stairs, one, this army Jawan kind of uniform somebody was wearing, and he was coming out and he asked me the same thing, who are you, why are you here? I told him the same story. He said, no, you can't meet anybody, go. जब मैंने अंदर ऐसे झांका उस बिल्डिंग में, then I saw it was like a big go down, very lonely, with a lot of machinery and things like that. So I said, my fear at the back of the mind was, again, if the dogs come back, what will I do? तो मैं ऊबर लेके घर आ गई. उस रात को, संगत जी, you have to believe me when I tell you this, there are no coincidences in Guruji's darbar. People who are new and are listening, please remember, there's no such thing as coincidence, it's all planned. So रात को जब मैंने YouTube पे सत्संग लगाया, उसमें randomly एक सत्संग आता है जिसमें एक संगत who has gone from US to Kashmir to attend a satsang. She's gone there to attend a satsang and she was very happy. She says in her satsang that बहुत young लोग वहां थे कश्मीर में गुरुजी के सत्संग में, और जब वो बाहर आई वहां से, she saw a lot of stray dogs. What are the chances that I have this experience in the morning and in the night I hear the same satsang about stray dogs? So she says Guruji was very fond of not only people but animals and things like that. So, I got my answer to that he was protecting me in some way. Maybe he didn't want me to go into that building through those dogs. That's how I took it. So this was one. So when things like this started happening with me, my faith in Guruji just escalate. तो ये एक सत्संग था. फिर हमारे हॉस्पिटल ने मुझे एक ड्यूटी दी कि our 75 television sets in the hospital बहुत पुराने हो गए हैं, तो आप कोई स्पॉन्सर ढूंढो ये 75 television sets replace करने के लिए. So that was a big task for me, and I again started my search, approaching corporates and all clubs. And clubs, when I mean Rotary clubs and people like that, to see whether they would like to sponsor some television sets. And it was not getting anywhere. 2 महीने हो गए थे. So एक दिन जब मैं hospital गई to report, I used to go there twice a week to report how much progress I've made. So the management called me in and said, don't worry about the television sets anymore. हमने उस television sets को अलीबाबा में ऑनलाइन खरीदा है, पेमेंट पे हो गया है, सब कुछ हो गया है, अभी डिलीवरी बाकी है बस. I was very disappointed. मैंने गुरुजी से बात की. I said, गुरुजी, मैंने इतना इसके लिए स्ट्रगल किया है, अगर इन लोगों को ऐसे ही खरीदना था तो पहले ही खरीद लेते, इतनी भाग दौड़ करने की क्या जरूरत थी. Anyway, then I said, Guruji knows better, and whatever is best for the hospital, वो ये होना चाहिए. So I left it. I went about doing my other work for the hospital. एक महीने के बाद, संगत जी, I get called by the same management people, and they tell me, let's procure the television sets that you were, finding out information about. What is the best deal that we have? I said, why? What happened? I thought you already bought it from Alibaba. So they say, no, we got cheated. हमारा पैसा भी गया है, टेलीविजन सेट्स भी नहीं आए हैं, और हम अभी पुलिस कंप्लेंट देने वाले हैं. So I was thinking, there is nothing that escapes Guruji, right? And before the lockdown, all the 75 television sets were replaced in the hospital. I got a fabulous discount from Chroma, and they came and did the installation free of cost, and the hospital was extremely happy. So these are a couple of satsangs that happened during my work. There are many more, but I will keep the time in mind and share only what I can. So this is how my journey continued. Satsang sunna, satsangs attend karna, and all that. So the home I was living in, I was asked to vacate it because the owners want to occupy it. तो मुझे बहुत बुरा लगा that I had just settled and I was just, getting used to the area and stuff like that. But क्या कर सकते हैं? This is a part of life. So it was when the day I was leaving that home, I was extremely upset because, I was thinking, now again, I have to go and restart somewhere else. But whenever things happen in a life, it happens for a reason, and Guruji को सब कुछ पता है, क्योंकि आगे क्या आने वाला है हमको कुछ नहीं दिखता है. Like Guruji used to say, you can see only up to the wall, but Guruji can see beyond the wall and what's going to come in your life later on. So I got another apartment in a complex called Shivani. And वो जो घर मुझे मिला भाड़े पे, that owner had not rented out his apartment for 10 years. It was in a bad shape, but it was a very spacious, and it was in a locality called Tiruvannur where I had lived before. So I had a lot of friends around. It was a familiar locality. So in that way, I was very happy. So, and Sangatji, to add to it, I don't know if that owner had ever renovated his house. 20 साल पुराना अपार्टमेंट कॉम्प्लेक्स था. और जब मैं घर देखने गई थी तो उसके बाथरूम के टाइल्स में पूरे बटरफ्लाइज के डिजाइन थे. Okay, and then I settled in that house, and Rita Aunty and all were telling me that this house has been vacant for so long. तुम क्यों नहीं एक सत्संग करती हो घर में? Now that you have moved into this house, so I was very excited. We did a beautiful satsang with all the sangats coming in and helping. And it was a lovely satsang with about 75 to 80 people came. Guruji just makes everything happen. It's not that we are doing anything. Guruji is getting things organized. So it was a beautiful, wonderful satsang that we had. Again, in the month of February, that is 2020. So I got connected in 2019. This was 2020 February. This thought, I don't know, I woke up with a thought in the morning, I should do one more satsang. So we did a beautiful satsang. When I say we, I mean the Guru Pariwar and me. And Guruji made it happen so lovely. And उसके बाद कहाँ से पता नहीं, within a week, Sangatji, I got an opportunity to go to Bade Mandir, which I did not in my wildest dreams think that I will get a chance like this. तो वहां जब मैं लंगर क्यों में खड़ी थी, beautiful fragrance of roses, Guruji ka fragrance. And when I was coming out of, when I finished all the langar and everything and came out to the taxi stand, it felt like Guruji वहां मुझे bye-bye करने के लिए आए थे, क्योंकि वहां भी strong fragrance of roses आई थी. And when I sat in the Mandir, I thought my heart will pop out there because I cried so much thinking my Guru was in this place. And I missed meeting him, seeing him and touching his feet. But he has his own plans. And I consider myself extremely fortunate that even though हमने Guruji को छुआ नहीं, देखा नहीं, we are still so blessed that we are his Sangat now, because if you pull out the news every day and see the things that are happening around the world, how many are going to go away from this world without even knowing the name Guruji? So I feel, I don't think I'm even worthy of his affection and care and love, but he has showered it and he continues to shower it every single day. So I want to share some cute little satsangs. The reason I'm sharing these is not because they're frivolous or very, but the point is to make a point that Guruji listens to even the smallest thing that is in your heart, which you have not even asked for. It's not that we have asked for it, but he listens to whatever is going on in our mind because he's within us. He's not outside, he's just within us. So I'll share a couple of satsangs which are absolutely cute. So on the way back from Bade Mandir, it was in month of February. This was just before the lockdown, and I'm just thinking Guruji had planned it so beautifully that he knew that we are all going to go under lockdown soon and I will not be able to go to the Mandir. So he made me go there before in February and March with the lockdown. So on the way back, I had got this news that I had to go to Delhi. Within hours, I had packed and gone to Delhi. So I just grabbed whatever I could and go. In the flight on the way back, when I was sitting, I was thinking, oh my God, it was quite cold in Delhi. And I've not taken the lotion with me, moisturizing lotion. I'm not fussy about such things, but मैंने लिया नहीं अपने साथ. So I said, okay, Chennai जाने के बाद, first thing first, I must apply moisturizing lotion because the skin seems very cracked. Will you believe it? I didn't even speak this to Guruji. ये मेरे मन में था. And when I was sitting in the flight, the stewardess announces in the flight that all the lady passengers today will get a moisturizing lotion. How sweet is that of Guruji? Okay, so that was one satsang which was really sweet. The other thing is ice cream ka satsang. Before that, the apartment that I was staying in Chennai, this person asked me to vacate the apartment during peak lockdown. And I asked him, I requested him, I said, this is peak first wave of the lockdown. Where will I go? So he said, that's not my problem. Just vacate. And I was so distressed, but Guruji gave me dream darshan. And in that dream darshan, I can see Guruji sitting in a block which is opposite me on an easy chair near the window. And he's not looking at me. And I'm standing near the window and calling out to him. I said, Guruji, Guruji. And suddenly he looks at me. And I called my daughter. I said, see, Guruji is sitting in that house. So I said, Guruji, आप सत्संग पे नहीं आए? यहाँ लॉकडाउन से मैं सत्संग कर रही हूँ रोज. So Guruji said, yes, I know. That was my dream. So like I said, when lockdown hit on March 24th, Guruji put that thought in my head. I literally can picture myself getting out of my bed in the morning saying, do satsangs every day. This is the thought which came to me. And from that day onwards, I put up Guruji's Gadi. I was alone at home. I think that was one of the toughest times in life when lockdown hit. I was all alone. It was a scary time because, at that time, the people from the corporation would come and take you if you were infected with COVID. Nobody knew how to handle COVID. Everybody was sanitizing the packets from the shops and, people were going crazy. There was so much of fear. And to be alone, to be not able to talk to anybody in the house, how much can you call up people who are dealing with their own issues? But on the flip side, that was also the best time of life. क्योंकि गुरुजी ने अपने साथ बिठा के सत्संग करवाए. रोज. That tradition still carries on now also. But those days I used to, I had to have Gardi in the house and every day 5 to 7, Shraddha Bhakti se I would sit and do satsangs every day from March 24th. And I must tell you this, during the satsangs, after a few months when I was doing in the evening, I saw a jyot in Guruji's Charan Swarup. And that was fascinating because I thought I was imagining, because there is this Siddharth Mohan's Chandrasekharaya, the Tandav song. In that, I saw a jyot flickering in Guruji's Charan Swarup. And I thought it's a reflection of some light. So I switched off the lights. You know how we are so skeptical, not trusting. But that jyot would come every day for a few days and then it stopped. So I don't know what Guruji was blessing in what way and for what. But this was such a beautiful journey. Also during COVID, I felt, Guruji has been doing so much for me, little things, big things that I don't even know what he's doing for. That's another thing in life. हम शुक्राना करते हैं for things that we know. But जो गुरुजी हमारे लिए कर रहे हैं, जिसका हमें पता भी नहीं है, उसका हमको कितना शुक्राना करना चाहिए. So I thought I must write a book because I might forget my satsang. So I sat and wrote a book which is available in PDF form called Happily Ever After, A Journey with Guruji. Now you might ask me, is everything fine if you're a new Sangat? Once you get attached to Guruji or you come under his Sharan, will everything be like really happily ever after? The happily ever after that I'm talking about is the constant happiness and the permanent happiness that you get with your Guru is not with anybody else in this world. No relationship, nothing can give this permanent happiness like the one you have with your Guru. I'm talking about this happily ever. Challenges will come, challenges will go, and Guruji will take us through it smoothly. But the happily ever after that I spoke about or I'm speaking about is the one which is permanent happiness with your Guru. So I wrote that book and circulated it among Sangat. It's still there if anybody would like to read it. It's in a PDF small. It's a book of satsangs. It's also a brief introduction about who Guruji is. So he gave me that blessing to write it. So that happened. And then, like I said a few minutes back, my owner asked me to vacate that place. And I got this dream darshan of Guruji where he was sitting on an easy chair like I mentioned. And Sangatji, in that complex, during COVID-1, first wave, who is going to vacate a place? Tell me. It happened. And the block in front, just like Guruji had shown me in the dream, there was a person who vacated the 2-bedroom house, and she put in a word for me saying, Anu is looking for a place, so please give it to her. And this gentleman, completely a gentleman, I'll tell you why. He gave me that house because there's certain people who don't like to give it to single women. You know, they're wondering why did she go through a divorce, all kinds of things. But this man didn't think twice during peak COVID. He gave me that. So on July 7th, I celebrated Guruji's birthday in my old apartment, and July 8th, I moved because I didn't want to go to a new apartment and then which is a mess and do Guruji's birthday. So जब मैंने shifting किया उस दिन मेरे साथ कोई नहीं था except the packers and packers. And Viren uncle, Rita auntie and all had offered to come and help me, but I didn't want to put them into trouble because of COVID. And the people who came to pack were not even wearing masks. In peak COVID time, and I said, भैया आप मास्क नहीं डाल रहे हैं, तो he said, इस चेन्नई के हीट में कैसे हम पैक करेंगे मैडम आप बताओ. It was scorching, it was so hot. They did all the work without a mask. I did all the, running between 2 blocks. They came at 6:30 in the morning. There was nobody with me except the packers. By 10:30, they had moved my boxes to my place, and I sat there with tears in my eyes because, when you are alone, you just think about all the times that you had, good times in your life, right? And it is not easy. Emotionally, you have to be extremely strong to be going through something alone by yourself. So, anyways, मैं वहां बैठी थी मास्क डाल के, plus my reading glasses, and tears were just rolling down my eyes. Guruji's big swarups were already fixed in that house on the wall. So I looked at Guruji and said, Guruji, akeli hu, and I have had enough of this. I'm just so tired about, physically tired, emotionally tired, the fear of COVID, everything was going on together. Anyway, the packer came and asked me, Madam, ये आपके पैर के पास एक बॉक्स है, इसमें मार्क नहीं किया है, ये कहाँ रखना है? Because all the boxes were marked to which room that has to go. But this box didn't have a marking. I said, भैया मुझे पता नहीं, आपको खोल के देख लो. And to my surprise, the first box that was open in that house, the topmost thing in that box was my Shivji ki murti and Sai Baba and small swarups of Guruji. So I took it as a message to me from Guruji saying, why are you crying? What are you so upset about? Am I not here with you? So that just turned things around. I settled down in that house. So now comes to that ice cream satsang I wanted to tell you about. So I always had ice cream in my freezer because Chennai is a very hot place. तो एक दिन मैंने फ्रीजर ओपन किया तो उसमें आइसक्रीम नहीं था, खाली हो गया था. तो मैंने ऐसे ही बोला, ओ गुरुजी आइसक्रीम नहीं है, बस उतना ही बोला था. And you have to believe me when I say, next morning I get a call from an unknown number. I pick up calls even if they're unknown numbers because you don't know who is trying to reach you. So he says, Madam, Anu Murali. I said, yes. He says, I'm calling from Baskin Robbins. I said, yeah, what can I do for you? So he says, your name was referred by somebody and we have new samples of ice cream coming. So we want to give you that. I thought this was somebody was playing the fool. I thought, koi mera pair khich raha hai. Like he's really pulling my leg. And I said, I was giving him very weird answer. I said, who gave you my reference? Who gave me the number? So he said, this madam, and he told me her name. I don't even know anybody like that. So I said, I don't know anybody like that. शायद आपसे कोई गलती हुई है. I don't know the lady you're mentioning. So he says, no, her boss also has given him name and number. I said, what's his name? So he said the name of that person. I said, I don't know him also. I said, are you really mistaken? It's not me. It must be somebody else with my name. He said, no, they've given your right number and your name, so it's you. So उन्होंने क्या किया? He said, madam, are you thinking this is a prank call? I said, yes, definitely I'm thinking this is a prank call. So he said, we are not doing a prank call. You can call me back on this number. This is Baskin Robbins and we want to send you the ice cream. So मैंने कहा, okay भैया. He said, give your address. So मैंने, आधा address दिया. मतलब I didn't give him my door number and all that. I just gave him general address. And this was forgotten because he had told me very clearly it will take some time. We are still launching these three new flavors. And my satsang used to continue every day, even in this new place. So evening, I don't know how one evening when I was sitting for my satsang, I said, Guruji, see what frauds are there in this world. He calls and he says he's going to send ice cream, this and that. I'm sure that was a prank call. And but you believe me when I say this thought came to my mind. In 10 minutes, I get a call during my satsang. And they say, so I didn't take the call because satsang was going on. And then after the call, after satsang, I called them back. I said, I got a call from this number. So he says, madam, we are from Baskin Robbins. We have come to deliver your ice cream, which is your door number. And true enough, they came with the three flavors that man said. Gave me big, three, sizable, I wouldn't say huge, but decent size ice cream tubs from Baskin Robbins. And this was definitely my Guruji who did it. And now I didn't even ask Guruji for ice cream. So what I'm trying to say is, choti baatein, jo you can do without. It's not that I can't do without ice cream or something. It's, but Guruji takes such good loving care of his Sangat. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that he is with us day and night. He knows exactly what's going on in our minds, around us and everything. And he's taking care of us all the time. So this went on. And then I lost my job. Because during COVID, we couldn't go from place to place asking for tons. So my boss called me one day and says, okay, you can take as much leave as you want. And unless you come to the hospital, he wanted me to come to the hospital every day during wave 1 and report for duty, we will not give you salary. I said, sir, I can't come. How will I come? He said, that you figure out. But we'll give you a letter because you're working for the hospital. They will allow you to come. I said, it's not possible for me to come, sir. He said, then you can take it as your job is off. So I lost my job during COVID. And it was difficult. Definitely it was difficult. But Guruji had other plans for me. So I became a part of migrant immigrants voluntary group where we used to help people from other cities to migrate and go back to their towns because they were in a very bad shape. So we used to provide meals for them. We used to give them ration if they could cook. Otherwise, we also organized tickets for them to get back to their cities and homes. And it was a huge thing for people who were so grateful because they were pregnant ladies, old people who were working in Chennai who lost their jobs, who had no food to eat. Wherever they were renting, they were thrown out. So हमने उनकी मदद की through that voluntary group. And in that, I got calls for senior citizens to help. They were asking for help. So this is the thought that Guruji put in my mind one morning. And I was just sitting by myself. I said, why don't I do something for the senior citizens? So I started this organization called Senior Care, which is still running till today with Guruji's grace in Chennai, where, it's all by contact, Sangatji. If you look at the way Senior Care is running, there's absolutely no contract or this thing. It is all by word of mouth and trust. And I still get calls of Senior Care. They see some doctor from some hospital referred your name. I don't even know who they are. And zero investment business, zero investment. And I'm the sole point of contact for Senior Care customers. But I have 2 doctors who work with me. I have a nursing agency who works with me. So we still provide a lot of services in Chennai till today. And this is all Guruji's doing. All Guruji's. So August 15th of 2020, I launched Senior Care, and by Guruji's grace, it's going so well. So ये सब हो गया, and by 2020 end, my daughter was in Bangalore, so she kept telling me, I think you should stop living alone. It's quite scary that you're all alone by yourself. So you should move back to Bangalore. So like I said at the beginning of the satsang, when you have relatives who know that you've gone through so much in your personal life, it becomes a little awkward. So I was actually keeping away from everybody. And Chennai was my haven because I had friends, I had, a known city, and it's a safe city, by the way, Chennai. And people generally, locals are very nice people. So there is no fear. It was a nice place to stay and all that. But my daughter kept telling me, come back to Bangalore, come back. So in December of 2020, I just took a small bag and put 3 sets of clothes, thinking I'll come and spend like 3-4 days with her. By then, COVID had eased a little bit. Not second wave had not started yet. So I actually Bangalore आई और यहाँ जब आई, my eye condition became really bad. So I have an existing eye condition where my side vision is not good. Only my central vision is good. और उसपे when we started looking for homes, she kept telling, my daughter kept saying कि तुम यहीं settle हो जाओ, यहीं settle हो जाओ. Then I finally said she makes sense because whenever I was feeling lonely there, at least I had my daughter here to be with. So we started looking for homes. Or that was COVID time also. So people were a little skeptical to let their homes out. And there were a lot of things. But when I was standing next to people, itne close khadi thi, but I couldn't see their faces. It was not clear. And that actually scared me a lot. So I have, a very sweet aunt of mine. She's not my aunt, but she's my neighbor. Her name is Murali Aunty. She's like a mother figure in my life. And her daughter is a surgeon in Dr. Agarwal's in Chennai. So I immediately called her. I said, Smita, I don't know what's wrong with my eyes. She said, Anu, it's your cataracts. Get your cataracts done right away. Because you have central vision, which is good, and that's hindering you. So I got the cataract surgeries done, one after the other. And that went off so smoothly, thanks to Guruji's grace. One cataract surgery हो गया तो दूसरे cataract surgery में 2 दिन थे, and I was so tense because the first one they do on the weak eye, the second one they do on the stronger eye. But to tell you something, मुझे गुरुजी का dream दर्शन आया था एक बार, much before this cataract, where I'm, charan sparsh कर रही हूँ गुरुजी का, and he's exactly the way he is in Bada Mandir Swarup, the white chola that Guruji is a little younger that way. And some Sangat in the dream is telling him, Guruji, iske aankhon mein problems hai. So Guruji points his finger to my eye, and there's a little star at Guruji's finger, which sends a warm light into my eyes. So that way I was very confident that Guruji is healing my eyes. So the second surgery also went off well. In between, all I would do is listen to satsangs. That's why I would love to tell people who are depressed, who are upset about things, your medicine is to listen to satsangs like crazy. Shabads, of course, Shabads as well. But when you listen to other people's experiences, you will get your answers. Definitely, Guruji will give you answers through satsang. The second thing, he also makes you realize that इतना जो upset हो रही हो, देखो दुनिया में कितने problems है. Your problem is the least of the sorts. So that is another thing that I have learned with Guruji, that I need to be grateful for so many things in my life. There might be things which I don't have, but those are very insignificant compared to what Guruji has blessed me, and that's a big learning. That's why I said the journey with Guruji is a transformation of life. So anyway, so the cataracts went on smoothly, and then I was not finding an apartment of my choice. And after that, I started connecting with Sangats to see whether they know of any apartment complex with apartments, and I got to know of Sandeep uncle in the complex that I'm living now, and he gave me a connect to rent out an apartment. And unfortunately for me, जो वो apartment था, उसके बगल में COVID हो गया था, so the corporation had sealed that building, and I was in a big rush to get that. But everything went smoothly. I shifted. My daughter didn't shift with me immediately, so I shifted there and settled there. It was so heartening to see so many Sangat Parivars in this complex that I'm living in right now. So I started renting that place, and ek din kya hua? I was talking to this Malini auntie of mine in Chennai. It is just amazing. It felt like Guruji was in the room, not the presence of Guruji in terms of physically or something. The conversation I had with auntie is what I'm saying. So I was telling auntie, I said, auntie, मैं ना अपना जॉब मिस करती हूँ. मतलब रेगुलर इनकम जो आता था और मैं 9 to 5 या जो भी था वो fully occupied रहती थी. And by this time, one more thing Guruji had planted in my head is start teaching. So, I would translate certain conversations for Rita Aunty sometimes with her house help or something. So, इससे मुझे एक idea आया कि why don't I start teaching the local language in Bangalore, which is Kannada, and I've grown up in Bangalore. I can speak Kannada, but I can't write. So, I thought I should write and read. I'm not so good at, but speaking I'm good at. क्यों ना मैं classes शुरू करूँ? So I did a lot of research how to teach. See, knowing a language is one thing, teaching is another. You should be prepared. So मैंने research करके I started these classes. Even till today, Guruji is running these classes so successfully. I teach adults. So मैंने ये classes शुरू किए थे. So when I was having this conversation with Murali Aunty that evening, I said, see, Aunty, I'm doing senior care. I'm also doing the Kannada classes. I'm happy with both. But, I still miss that regular income that used to come into my bank account, plus keeping busy those things. And I was telling her the amount I was getting as a salary. Sangatji, what will believe me when I tell you this, and I'm sure you will. Next day in the afternoon, this was a Friday night conversation with Auntie. Saturday afternoon, one of my Kannada students, he calls me. He has his own startup. He and his wife run a startup. So he calls me and he says, Anu, this is nothing related with Kannada, but I wanted to make you a job offer. I said, Vittal, you must be joking. I think, are you pulling my leg? He said, no, this is serious. Would you consider it if we make you a job offer? I said, what kind of a job? I didn't even know what his company is doing. I said, sorry, I don't know what your company is doing. So he explained to me that they're a content company, but he says, I'm hiring you because I want you to counsel and mentor my employees. I said, I'm not a counselor. He said, but you've seen life a lot, right? Who can do that better than you? Those were his words. So are you willing to take it? It just came out of the blue. I was not even prepared for this. I said, yeah, I think I should take it out. So he said, do you want to come to office or you want to work from home? I said, work from home. He said, yeah, done. He said, what salary do you want? I was not prepared for this. I said, Vittal, my last job mein मुझे ये X amount मिल रहा था. So he said, done, Anu, take it. Take the same salary. And I'm sitting there because my home is full of Guruji Swarups. Every other room has got Guruji Swarup. I'm looking at Guruji Swarup. I said, what are you really doing this, Guruji? Last night I was having this conversation and this is what you do today. I couldn't do enough Shukrana to him. So I started working with this company called Lumicom. And it was a beautiful experience to work with them and mentor and counsel all these young people who had come from very humble backgrounds. Before that, I must tell you one more satsang about a pet. So we've never had a dog at home. And my daughter used to be very scared of dogs. So we've never dealt with a dog, but we love dogs. So she slowly started getting interested in fostering a dog for a few days. देखते हैं कैसा रहेगा. So one day she got a call from a pet hospital saying there's a pet that is not a pet, a dog that is rescued from the road और वो garbage bin से खा रही थी, this dog. And they have sent out posters and everything asking if anybody's dog is lost, but nobody has come to claim her. So can you keep her for a few days? We will get somebody to adopt her. And she was not a small breed. She's a Doberman. And Doberman, the name you hear it, डर लगता है क्योंकि you feel that it's an aggressive dog. So anyway, so she was not staying with me that time, my daughter. She says, Mom, I'm going to foster a Doberman. Are you sure? She said, yeah. I said, that's an aggressive breed. She said, no, you must see her. She's so gentle. तो वो घर लेके आए शाम को. And she called her Rumi. Rumi is a Persian poet. Actually, it's a male, but Rumi, our pet, is a female dog. And when she brought her home, I was doing satsang in the evening. This pet, she sat next to me on the floor and she quietly listened to the shepherds. And she was such a calm dog. But after some 5-6 days, humko laga ke, like we will be very, very, it's not going to be easy for us. It will be very difficult for us to take care of such a big dog. So we called the pet hospital और हमने उनको बताया कि sorry, हमसे नहीं होगा, but we don't even want to part with her. She's too good a dog. But they said, no, we can understand. We will definitely find her someplace, and tomorrow somebody will come and take her back. The person who runs a pet taxi will come and take her back. तो उस दौरान मैं ना शिव पुराण सुन रही थी. And I must tell you, Sangat ji, Dr. Dheeraja Bhatt on YouTube, please listen to her audio Shiv Puran. She has read that text so beautifully. And so it's in 68 parts. So I had just finished listening to Shiv Puran. And so this Shivji thing was going on in my head. And I was also feeling very bad. Rumi is going back and we are not going to be seeing her that often. So this boy who was, this man who was coming to pick her up, called my daughter and he was doing the logistics कि कल आ जाऊंगा 3 बजे and all that. So मैं गुरुजी के स्वरूप को देख के बोल रही थी, गुरुजी, this I don't know how this thought came to my head. अगर रूमी इस आदमी के घर जिस आदमी के घर जा रही है, उनका नाम अगर शिवजी का कोई भी नाम हो, तो वो अच्छे घर जा रही है. This was just a fleeting thought in my head. So my daughter finished the call with that man, and she says, he's coming tomorrow to take her at 3:30. And she started crying. And I said, see, Diya, if Rumi is meant to be ours, she will come back. Guruji will bring her back, so you don't cry. If she's not meant to be ours, if she's not, it's not good for her and for us to have her in our house, then Guruji knows better. So, and then I said, by the way, what is the name of that person who's coming tomorrow to take Rumi? She says, Mom, his name is Ishwar. Out of all the million names in the world, his name had to be Ishwar. So anyway, Ishwar came the next day to take Rumi. And Sangatji, this is another transformation I feel that has happened in my life. Pehle we used to talk about so many things in this world, right? Now, when we have a conversation, if I ask 5-10 minutes, you ask about the family, about jobs and things like that. But even if it's a stranger, my ultimate go-to topic is only Guruji. Every time. So Ishwar came the next day and he saw all the swarups in the house, big swarups. And I said, this is my Guruji. And I told him what happened the previous evening, like, this name connected with Ishwar and all that. So you know what he tells me? He says, Madam, actually I'm a Christian. But for the last 10 years, I have been very fascinated with Lord Shiva. And I'm praying to Lord Shiva. So just look how things happen, Sangatji. Anyway, he took Rumi and went and we were heartbroken. And that time is when Guruji gave us a second opportunity to go to Bade Mandir and Chota Mandir. So we went to Bade Mandir and Chota Mandir. Chota Mandir, we went, a family of 10 of us went, my parents, my sisters, and all of their families. And when we went to Chota Mandir, as we say, when you sit in front of Guruji, it's the place where he has lived. So, I was drowning myself with my own tears that Guruji has walked to this place, literally. And it's such an honor to be here where Guruji has walked. So sat there and cried, and the Sevadar uncle who was there, it was only our family. It was a darshan only for our family. So the Sevadar uncle said, Auntie, I'll make the chai prasad and bring in. Shabads were going on there. So he brought chai prasad and matri prasad and gave it to us. So after he gave that, after all of us had a chai and matri prasad, I took the glasses and the small little plates and I went to the kitchen to keep it back and to see whether we can wash it, because any seva in a place where Guruji has been there is such an honor. So uncle नहीं थे वो, छोटे मंदिर के किचन के पास एक door है, like a side door, you can get down to the side of it. So I think the door was open, so I gathered that uncle has just stepped out for some small thing. I waited. I didn't know whether to, without permission you can do it or not. Waited for a few minutes. He didn't come back. So I said, okay, let me wash this. Started, those chai ka glasses and the small little plates. From nowhere, my daughter comes. In the sense, when I say nowhere, ghar mein, if I ask her to wash, she might not wash. You know how she might say, yeah, I'll do it a little later and things like that. But wahan she came to the kitchen and she says, what are you doing? I said, I'm just washing this with few cups and plates. So she said, give it to me, I'll do it. I was so stunned. I said, huh, you will do it? So she said, yeah, I'll do it, leave it. I quickly gave it to her. I said, getting a seva in Chota Mandir is such an honor and such a blessing. So she did all that. So it was so thrilled. So we went to Delhi. We had this beautiful darshan. Then she and I, the rest of the family was supposed to come back to Bangalore. She and I wanted to go and see the Taj Mahal. We had seen it, but we wanted to do, since we had gone to Delhi, we wanted to go. So just the two of us were going, the rest were coming back. So I was a little concerned as to it should go well, no, we shouldn't have an issue. So we were going to take a train. All the logistics were handled. But days before we went to the Taj Mahal, I listened to another random satsang on a Facebook platform, where uncle is saying that Guruji once went to Taj Mahal to bless the Taj Mahal, and Guruji said, "Aapko pata hai, Taj Mahal ke niche shivling hai." And this is the satsang I heard just a few days before going to the Taj Mahal. It's like Guruji saying, "What are you scared of? I've gone there and blessed that place already." So every little step we're getting our answers. We're getting a comforting fact saying that, aren't you aware that I'm along with you all the time? That's the feeling I get. So we came back from Delhi on this whole trip, and I would write to Ishwar asking how is Rumi once in a way, and he would say, "Ma'am, she was not well, she's fine," and things like that. One day, my daughter sees that Rumi is up for adoption again. Sorry, Sangatji. And at this point in time, we realized we can't let her go anymore. So we brought her back. She's been with us for the past 2 years, and she's always going to be with us. Because she's a dog which was lost or abandoned, we don't know. When we took her to the vet, they look at the teeth of the dog and kind of make out how old the dog is. So he did his calculations and said, I think she was born in the month of July. So I said, what better date can we have? Rumi's birthday. So Rumi's birthday is also July 2nd. She's a truly God-sent pet, because every day when I do satsangs, she sits with me. Now again, I'm listening to Shiv Puran, she sits with me. And the minute I take out the chai prasad and, whatever little langar that I keep as a snack prasad for Guruji, whether it is a murku or a biscuit or whatever, she's waiting to have a part of it. She has jal prasad. So she's a very, very blessed soul, and we are blessed to have her in our life. So after this, what happened is the place that I was renting in the complex that we are, it was going on fine and everything. But of course now, like we know, the real estate market has gone up and everything. We had an apartment in Chennai, and it was being taken care of well by that tenant. But I don't know what happened during COVID. He gave me a notice saying he's vacating, and I was quite stunned because he was staying there for the past 6 years. So Murali Aunty, like I said, went and had a look at it, and she said, Anu, I'm shocked, because when we had gone to renew the lease, he's kept the house so spick and span and so beautiful. He has wrecked your house. He has done so much damage to the house. Of course, the paint was the least of the thing. The kitchen, he had ripped apart the hob. He had put a granite slab on top of the granite slab. Jo man mein aaya tha, kiya tha usne. I think he had left it to the care of his, the person who was taking care of his house. Or us ladke ne to pura satyanash kiya tha dil ka. I was so upset when I saw Auntie took videos and sent it to me, photographs, videos, and such. And then I decided that I have to sell that apartment because मैं Bangalore में हूँ और चेन्नई में maintain करना is very difficult. I can't keep troubling auntie for it or my other friends for it. So, you know, in the month of May, we decided to sell it. When I say we, auntie and helped me to make this decision. And at that point in time, the price that I was asking was not even the market price. It was much higher than much higher. And it was not out of greed, Sangatji. It was not that I was greedy that I want more money. It was the reason was I needed a substantial amount for the rest of my life. I was just thinking in case I have an issue with my eyesight or I don't want to depend on anybody. So इसलिए मेरा ये thought था, and Guruji knew exactly why I was doing that. So I don't know how many agents came and saw. Many people came and saw it. Everybody would discourage me, saying, Madam, whatever you're asking is too high. That's not the market rate. You will never get. And there was one uncle in that locality. Sunday को वो screenshot लेते थे and he used to show me the lowest price in that locality and circle it and send it to me. I would never respond to him. I would just keep quiet. You will not believe it, Sangatji. The price that I wanted, Guruji gave me 6 lakhs more than me, and that property was sold. The transaction went on so smoothly. It was not at all an issue to kind of sell that property because everybody was trying to discourage me. Both of them. Before that, I forgot to mention one important satsang. When I moved from Chennai to Bangalore, because my cataract surgery was done, I couldn't go back immediately because my cataract surgeries were healing. And my owner of that apartment, who was a very nice man, a Muslim man, told me, Madam, you are in Bangalore for the past 4 months. You're paying me rent. Why are you not moving to Bangalore and why are you wasting your money? Why don't you move to Bangalore? He also told me, and of course, my daughter was telling me. So when I got this apartment in Bangalore for rent and I wanted to move from Chennai, I said, Sir, I'll have to come there. And that building where I was, the lift were not working. There were major repairs with the lift. He said, No, you're not coming here. I will get my boys to stand and do the packing for you if you want. I said, But sir, I have to return your keys. He said, That's just a formality. You आप courier कर दो. But आपके आंखों की ऑपरेशन हो गई है. आप आना मत. Sangat ji, Guru ji delegated all the work to my friends. Rita and Viren uncles helped me so much. Other friends, my immediate neighbor, who when we were there, we used to say hi, hello. I didn't know her so well. She packed all my, expensive things. My other friends came and she took all the important things like laptop and everything. The whole move from Chennai to Bangalore, I didn't even go back to Chennai. Everything was handled by my friends. Rita uncle's driver, he helped me to surrender my gas cylinder. सब कुछ मेरे friends ने किए. ये कौन कर सकता है? तब गुरुजी का. It's such a blessing. I left Chennai with a bag with 3 sets of clothes to visit my daughter for 3 days. I didn't even go back. क्योंकि मेरे friends ने सब कुछ help करके भेज दिया यहाँ पे. I received the saman here, when I was living here. Anyway, coming back to the sale of my apartment in Chennai. वो सब इतने आराम से हो गया. Guruji ka blessing say everything. So my daughter and I went and we did the, registration of the flat and everything. And we came back. By then, my daughter had already moved into the apartment with me, with Rumi, of course. So a happy family now. So Guruji has taken away all my loneliness also. Then now with the prices going up and I had capital gains tax, which I wanted to buy a small apartment in Bangalore. So, it's better to have your own place and not pushed around. So हमने start किया ढूंढना. First priority was the same place where I'm staying now, in where we were renting, क्योंकि it's a very nice complex and very pet friendly also, and everything बहुत plus points है यहाँ पे. But it's like literally like hotcakes. अभी ad आएगा बाहर, within 1 or 2 hours, somebody will grab the top. In certain cases, I've heard that they don't even verify the documents. ऐसे ही खरीद लेते हैं. So मैंने बहुत यहाँ पे जो एजेंट्स है इस बिल्डिंग में ही, उनको मैंने बहुत तंग करना शुरू किया. उनको इज देयर अपार्टमेंट फॉर सेल. आई थॉट एट वन पॉइंट दे विल ब्लॉक माय नंबर. इतना मैं पूछती थी उनको. So after that, nothing was coming. So we had to start looking outside this complex. So very, I was feeling very sad, kuch nahi mil raha hai, but, I fixed up something down the road in the same locality, but outside, but I was not happy. It was, okay, I won't go into those details, but it was not as good as the one we are in right now. So एक दिन सुबह 8 बजे को, I was just going to start my work. मैंने email check किया तो there is a 2 BHK up for sale in the same complex which I wanted. I immediately told my daughter, I said, there's a apartment and it's come up for sale. She said, but you've already given advance somewhere else. I said, doesn't matter, let me call him. So मैंने उस अंकल को फोन किया तो अंकल ने बोला आपको चाहिए तो immediately आओ देखने के लिए, because already I've got 3-4 calls of people who are showing interest in the apartment. So I told my daughter, I said, let's go see it. She said, I have to go to work. I said, just come, 5 minutes, let's go see it. Precisely 5 minutes हमने देखा ये apartment. It was in such a mess, I can't tell you. Utility area में windows में glass नहीं था, tarpaulin sheet डाला था. Walls में seepage था. Cockroaches सब जगह थे. Wardrobes were stinking. I mean, I can go on with the list forever. I saw that uncle, he was on a call, and there was a very old couple staying here, renting this place for 10 years. And that auntie came to me on the side and she said, ये अपार्टमेंट तुम खरीदना मत, हाँ मैं बोल रही हूँ तुमको, इसमें तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स है. I said, auntie, I can understand. I knew very well. I've seen bad for that uncle and auntie. They've got friends and they've got established a relationship with neighbors. They would not want to vacate this place. And after that, we saw this apartment just in 5 minutes. And I told that agent uncle, I said, I'm going to take it. My daughter thought I was crazy. She thought I was crazy. She said, you've already given advance. And when did you see the condition of the apartment? How bad it is. I said, doesn't matter, Dia. This is the place that we wanted to live. And in my heart, I also knew there's a very nice Guru Pariwar in this complex. Okay, so we got this apartment. I was thinking I'll renovate the whole place completely with one vendor. Guruji ne sab mera plan change kiya. Sangatji, at one point, I was dealing single-handedly with 10 vendors. But kaise mera kaam? If I tell you, if I show you the before and after videos of this place, it's unbelievable. Okay, 10 vendors in 2 months flat. The whole work was completed. Major work. We broke a wall, pipe switching, all that. I'm not going into those details. But सब कुछ और पहला जो मैंने काम किया इसका नाम रखा है गुरुजी निवास. So my board outside says Guruji Niwas. Doesn't have any of our names. It's truly Guruji's home, and he has allowed us to stay here. So my Griha Pravesh was a beautiful satsang last June. That is 23 June 18th. We had a beautiful satsang, which was my Griha Pravesh in Guruji's home, and it's absolute blissful. We have a nice Guru Parivar in this complex, like I said. And I must quickly share the recent satsangs that I have. I'm not even sure how much time I have, uncle. Am I exceeding the limit?
You may go for next 15 minutes.
Okay. So recently what happened is, I think I will just share a few recent satsangs and then I'll go, if I have time, I will definitely tell you about the dream darshans I've had of Guruji's. Okay, so recently, Baisakhi satsang was going to happen in this complex in the clubhouse. And just before that, a very close friend of mine from Sydney had come. We used to live in Australia before. So Sydney mein the, so that time my daughter and uske bacche saath khelte the, ki school jate the and all that. So we were very close. So she was visiting Bangalore and she called me and she said, I'm in Bangalore. I said, oh, wonderful. Why don't you come for lunch? और मैं उसको लंच पे बुला रही हूँ, कुछ भी नहीं किया है घर में, और तो I was, in the midst of changing bed sheets, and so it was a mess. Anyway, she said, definitely we'll come. So I said, but she said, we'll come at 2 o'clock. So I said, okay, I have a lot of time to cook a nice meal for her. And she loves South Indian food, so मैंने सब कुछ बनाया उसके लिए. But I said, okay, the meetha I will get from outside, but I'll ask her what she wants. But in the meantime, let me get a little bit of some meetha from her and keep it so that then she can say what she wants. So I can't imagine that I can think of kulfi, though I love kulfi. I never would have thought of it. I would have thought of some other sweets. A lot of sweets are there. And I got her mango kulfi from Bombay Kulfi House. It just, I don't know how Guruji had put that thought into my head. She came, we had a lovely time. A few days later, there was in our Guru Pariwar group here, there was announcement of Baisakhi Satsang, and Seva was open for everybody. In that, I said, since my birthday is close by, I should do the Meetha Seva for the thing. See, I know Seva should be good. I'm not announcing that I did Seva. I'm telling you the reason why, because it's a satsang, I'm just sharing this. So I called the auntie. I said, Auntie, I would like to do the Meetha ka Seva, like whatever the Meetha if you all want to have, that Seva I would like to take. She said, Auntie, oh, this time we're not doing a Meetha. We're just getting kulfi from Bombay Kulfi House. I was so shocked. I said, this was Guruji's way of showing me that, the Seva is yours to do. So I took a part of that Seva. I am just saying, ek karke Guruji makes you feel that he is with you, he hears you, he's always with you. Other satsang about our clubhouse. In January, we had a big satsang in our clubhouse in this complex. There are a lot of Sangat here. Then around this locality also Sangat come to satsangs when we have it in the clubhouse. So beautifully, very systematically organized, and darbar, everything is done very, very nicely. So उस दिन जो मैंने सत्संग अटेंड किया था, वो simultaneously at home my daughter was going through an interview with a company. She was wanting to change jobs. So ये उसका 6th round of interview. 6th round. So I was sitting in the satsang and I was praying to Guruji. I said, you know better, if that job is meant for her, if it's good for her, you'll give it to her. So I was praying. So satsang ho gaya and I came out and I looked for my slippers. I couldn't find it. So I ढूंढ रही थी slippers को, and wherever I had left it, I couldn't find it there. So I looked and looked and looked. I couldn't find it. So I called my daughter. I said, I can't find my slippers. Have you finished your interview? She said, yeah, I finished. So she said, okay, wait, I'll come there and look for your slippers. You wait there. So she came to the clubhouse. She looked for about 5 to 7 minutes. She found it. So I said, oh, great. So I said, why don't you come inside and matha take home? You've come till the darbar. You must come inside. She is not connected with Guruji like all of us. So she said, immediately she said, okay, which was actually quite shocking for me. I was so happy. I said, Shukrana Guruji. So both of us went inside. As she was going inside, she said, can you see how I'm dressed? I'm wearing a pajama and t-shirt. I said, see, Diya, people are coming here to say Guruji. Nobody even cares what we are wearing. Just come. So she came, she matha teko, and we came back home. As we came back home, she got a call from that interview people saying that at 11 o'clock in the night, she got a message, not a call, saying that कल हमारे ऑफिस का एक event है in Bangalore. We would like you to attend that event. So, and we were very thrilled. We said, okay, if it's going to almost round 7 now, maybe the job is hers. So I told her, I said, see, you came to Guruji's darbar and you matha tapered and all that. Guruji is listening to us. And she went and attended that event. But it just was anticlimax. Tuesday was for rejection message that she's not selected for the job. And she was very upset. She said 7 rounds had gone through. If they wanted to reject me, why didn't they do it in the first or second round? Which was fair enough. And then she asked me one question also. She said, Mom, आपने बताया था ना कि गुरुजी के दरबार में आके माथा टेप क्या हुआ? She said. I said, Guruji has a better feeling for you. Don't worry. There's something really good for you waiting. Just wait. True enough, Sangatji, this was a Tuesday. Wednesday, somebody sees her LinkedIn profile and contacts her. Does 2-3 rounds of interviews. Calls her to their office on Friday. So in one place she's rejected on Tuesday. One place she's called on Friday. When she goes to their office, the boss tells her, Diya, we all have this, we follow this rule in the office that we all leave our slippers outside. So can you please leave your slippers outside and come in? So she said, yeah, not a problem. So she left her slippers out. She went, she attended the interview. They were very happy with her. And she came back home and she said, I think I'm getting it. And when she came home at around 5 o'clock, they called her and said, you are through, we'll send you the letter. and you can let us know in a day's time whether you're accepted. So we were very happy. But here comes the satsang, Sangaji. You've got to listen to this carefully. So at 10 in the night, the boss calls her again and says, Dia, can I ask you something personal? So she said, yeah, please go ahead. So he says, do you have a problem with your leg? So she said, no, I don't have a problem with my leg. I have a slight issue with my hip. So when she was a baby, she had a dislocation of the hip, which we don't know how. And she had to go through some treatment and all that. So now what she does is she wears slippers, which is, one is slightly more heel and one, so we get that made specially for her. So her boss had noticed that she's wearing slippers which are slightly different from what others wear. So he told her that everybody in the office is not supposed to wear slippers into the office, but for you, we are making an exception. आप जब ज्वाइन करेंगे, अगर आप ज्वाइन करेंगे तो आप चप्पल पहन सकती हो घर में, in the office. You can do that. Don't worry about leaving your chappals outside. I told her, I said, Dia, do you remember why Guruji made you come to the clubhouse for my slippers? I mean, I can't even tell you if I tell this to your non-son, but they might think I'm crazy. But just look. He's telling us in subtle ways that मैं हूँ और मैं देख रहा हूँ. So these are some of the satsangs. So I will tell you a few dream darshans that I have also quickly. The first dream darshan I had of Guruji's was long back. And in that, I had been asking somebody for Guruji's Charan Swarup in Chennai. And, I was not getting it. When her auntie brought it, she missed me and I missed her on a couple of occasions and she took it back. So we were like a cat and mouse chase. So one night, I know now on hindsight that we shouldn't ask Guruji, aap mere dream mein aao, aap mujhe ye darshan do. It's not a good thing to do because he knows what's the best time for us. But those days when I was new, मैं वो करती थी रोज सोने से पहले गुरुजी से पूछना, Guruji, please dream darshan do. And rightfully one morning when I woke up at 5, I said, oh, even today Guruji didn't give me dream darshan, and I went back to sleep. 5:15, 5:30, whatever time, Guruji comes in my dream and he is sitting and talking on a sofa. He's sitting and not a gaddi, sofa. And I'm sitting down with my colleagues and he's talking a lot, but I don't know what he's talking. Means I'm listening. I can't remember now is what I mean. And my colleague is not listening to him. So Guruji says, why is she not listening? I said, Guruji, उसको हिंदी नहीं आती है गुरुजी, वो तमिल बात करती. So immediately it's time for satsang and Guruji gets up and goes and sits on his gaddi. And there's a lot of sangat around and all that. Guruji calls me, हाथ से इशारा करके मुझे बुलाते हैं और बोलते हैं वहां उस कोने में एक बैग है, वहां cushions है, put one cushion under my foot. So I took out this beautiful silk-like maroon cushions and put it under Guruji's feet. Those feet were so close to my hands, Sangatji, but I did not have the courage to touch Guruji's feet because I felt I am not worthy, my hands are not clean enough. And that's when my dream finished and I woke up. The point is, just the next satsang after that, I got Guruji's Charan Swarup. That was one dream. I got a very short dream of Guruji where he told me that tell every sangat, wherever there's a satsang, I'm there. मैं हर सत्संग में मौजूद होता हूँ. That is one of the messages Guruji gave me. Then it is you might laugh at me if I say this, but like I said, if Guruji is all over my house, he's my wallpaper on the phone, he's my lock screen, everything. People might find that a little crazy, but that's how it's each one's connection. So हर रात को जब मैं just before I sleep, I talk to Guruji and I say good night and thank you for a lovely day and whatever my prayer is. In the morning when I wake up, good morning Guruji and all the thank you for a peaceful night's sleep and all of that. Please bless all the people who are suffering in this world, whatever. And I always ask him, did you get any rest? Or you're just busy taking care of the whole world? When will you get rest? So this is my question to him almost every other day. One night I get a dream that Guruji has come for a satsang. And it's a huge hall and everybody's busy. Guruji is sitting on the gadi and the satsang is finishing, but I get distracted and I'm called inside a room for some work. तो मैं अंदर जाती हूँ, जब मैं बाहर आती हूँ तो गुरुजी गद्दी पे नहीं है. So I said, where is Guruji? So they said, we just left. In fact, his car is just leaving the compound. So मैं दौड़ के भाग जाती हूँ गाड़ी के पीछे. गुरुजी की गाड़ी है. Guruji is sitting in the front seat next to the driver. So when the driver sees me running, he stops the car. And I go to the driver's side and I stand there and I say, Guruji, aap ja rahe hain? So he smiled. He gave me such a beautiful smile. And then I said, you have to take care of yourself. And then he reached out his hand and gave me his hand, like, literally like a shake hand, but not like a shake hand, but a very gentle gesture. He held my hand. And then I was so touched by this thing. And then he left my hand and the Gadi just went. So there are a lot of dream darshans that Guruji has given me. I used to get a lot of dreams of snakes. To Guruji said, Guruji, please, or nahi. So I actually used to dream that this big cobra is curled up near my feet on my bed. ऐसे सब dreams आते थे मुझे. So after I stood sincerely and prayed in front of Dugri, I said, please, not anymore. I don't want to. Then it stopped. I also forgot to add that in Chennai, when I got Guruji's Swaroop, when you're getting your first Guruji's Swaroop, it's such an excitement. और वही हुआ मेरे साथ. So Asha Aunty है Chennai में, who started this satsangs in Chennai. She's an elderly person. So monthly satsangs उनके घर में होते हैं आज भी. So when I asked for a Swaroop, I was told that Asha Auntie's satsang you will get. So I asked Asha Aunty, I said, Aunty, I want Guruji's Swaroop. So she said, yeah, you come next time for satsang and I'll surely give it to you. So I was so excited. I said, I don't know which Swaroop I'm going to get and which form is Guruji coming to my house. Like children we are. So I went early for that satsang just to ask Aunty for the story. So when I went there, Aunty was busy with, she was talking to somebody and all that, but I went and interrupted. I said, Aunty, I'm sorry to interrupt, but आपने एक हाथ का स्वरूप देंगे तो क्या दे सकते हैं? So she called her grandson, maybe some 16, 17-year-old boy, and she said, Aunty को Guruji का स्वरूप देना, and she told her it's in the room, in the cupboard, all that she told her. So I followed him to the room, and that day, Rita and Viren uncle had not come for that satsang. I think they were traveling. So Aunty had told me that Guruji ke 2 books, not Light of Divinity, but some other books had. So see if you want to get that in pendant. So I was like a greedy child. I asked that boy, I said, I heard there are books. He said, yeah, Aunty. So he gave me a framed swaroop. I don't know if you're able to see it. That's on the wall. That one. And then he gave me a similar way. Guruji is sitting with his hand on his cheek. A big swaroop which is rolled up like a poster. And I was like, so many things in my hand. So I said, Abhi satsang shuru hone wala hai. I don't want to keep it outside on the ground. So I requested Auntie's grandson. I said, can I leave it in the bedroom? And after the satsang, I'll take it from here. You can give it to me. So he said, yes, Auntie. So near the window, there was a slab, like a marble slab inside, not of course, not outside, of course, inside the house, which was absolutely spick and span. Which should be nice house there. So he kept all these things, the sprained swaroop, the rolled up swaroop, everything. And there was an auntie also who came in to ask something. So 3 of us kept all that there. The boy kept it there. And the 3 of us went out. We finished the satsang. After the satsang, I looked for the boy. He was not there. So I said, okay, now will I wait for him? Because everybody had started to leave from the satsang. So I said, okay, it's not nice to go into somebody's room without asking them. But I said, Auntie will understand. And Auntie was very busy with somebody. I just opened the door of the room and I went to where we had kept that. Sangatji, there was Amrit Varsha. And why, how skeptical and critical we are. We always doubting Toms. So I said, I have seen this on YouTube. I had heard about these satsangs. And I had just connected with Guruji. So I was thinking, how can this happen to me? It's impossible. The reason, so I took all those things, the rolled swaroop was drifting in one corner. The others, the books were all wrapped in bubble wrap, so the base of that was all wet. And there was a pool of water there. I came out, I showed the Sangat, I told Asha Aunty, I said, Aunty, this is Amrit Prasad. The reason is, somebody in the Sangat said, nahi, AC ka pani hoga. Said, AC ka pani? AC nahi tha wahan pe. And even if you say AC ka pani, the top of all this, the top of the books, the top of the poster, the top of the swarup should be wet. It was not. It was wet only from the bottom. So this was something which was, one led to the other led to the other. And things started just escalating for me to, build my faith in Guruji, and there has been no end to it. So there's one more very nice satsang I'll tell you about a tattoo. So the satsangs I've shared today are all, like I said, they might seem a little small in terms of why she's sharing such small things. It's just because I want everybody to understand that Guruji is there in our day-to-day lives. Something big doesn't have to happen to us to feel his presence, right? It's even these small little things that help us, our faith escalate and skyrocket. So my daughter's got a few tattoos, and I'm not a person who likes tattoos at all. So she used to tell me, why don't you get a small tattoo done? So I'm not even a tattoo person. I don't want to go with it. She said, no, just for the fun of it. So a lot of brainwashing happened from her side. So finally I said, okay, I do either a butterfly tattoo or an acorn tattoo. And I was, dilly-dallying between ये दो में कौन सा छोटा वाला tattoo करवाऊं हाथ पे. So I was not able to make up my mind at all. And I was telling Guruji, aap bata do Guruji, kaun sa kare, kaun sa. I mean, how much I trouble Guruji sometimes I feel. So I didn't get any answer. So in the evening, we said, okay, finally, when we reach the tattoo place, at least that time I have to make up my mind. We'll see when we reach there. So हम कार में बैठे थे, जा रहे थे tattoo place के लिए, and the driver was driving the car. He put on randomly some music in the radio, in the car. Just as we were getting down from the car, I was not concentrating on what's going on the radio. So just as we were getting down, my daughter said, did you hear what the RJ said on the radio? What his announcement was? I said, no, I didn't hear. He said, the name of the next song is Butterfly. And I said, really? Is there a song called Butterfly? So she said, yeah, there definitely should be. So we Googled it. So there is a song called Butterfly. But the point is, I got an answer to my question to Guruji. Guruji, what should I do as a tattoo on my hand? So I got a butterfly tattoo done on my hand. So I'm just looking, Sangatji. I've written a few satsangs, which I hope I've not missed out. Yeah, so birthday. Okay, two things I must tell you about my birthday. When I was staying alone during the lockdown time, so just before my birthday, that is, lockdown was in March, my birthday was in April. So I was telling Guruji, I said, the best birthday that can ever happen is if you wish me happy birthday. And now that is going to happen, I didn't know. So in the night, after I finished all my work, I put on my YouTube Satsang. And I didn't even select anything about a birthday or anything. I just said Guruji Satsang. That's all I typed normally in YouTube, in the search. It just started playing. It was not a satsang, it was a video. And in that video, Sangat is celebrating Guruji's birthday. Guruji is sitting there with a blue shirt and I think 2 to 3 layers cake. And Guruji is cutting the cake and everybody is singing happy birthday. How coincidental is what people might say. How fascinating is this satsang? And this time's birthday also, again, I requested this year, Guruji, your wish would be absolute for me. So that night before my birthday, I dreamt that I've gone for a function. I don't know with whom. I've gone with 2 ladies. I don't even recognize those ladies. And I've gone for a function. It's a huge hall. A lot of people are there. And we are sitting at a table right at the back. And suddenly from the back, the hostess of that function comes and puts like a dupatta on my head or a sari or something. And she said, this is for you. And I stand up and I told her, I said, why are you giving this to me? So she kind of implied that it's a gift from her to me. And when I stood up and I looked in front, there were huge swarups of Guruji, huge. So I got his darshan. And my daughter, she's not connected much with Guruji, but see, this is the thought Guruji has given me now. So I'll share this satsang. This is so amazing, I'll tell you. My daughter dreams that she has gone to Alia Bhatt's house for satsang. And I'm thinking, really? And she walks into that house and she sees huge swarups of Guruji as she's entering their house, Alia Bhatt's. And she said, one swarup of Guruji, she said, I've never seen that kind of a chola, that color chola. It was a very different color chola. The minute Guruji is swarup, my daughter saw, in that swarup, Guruji became real. And he waved out to my daughter. And so what my daughter did is she looked at him and she smiled. And again, Guruji became a swarup. And that was her dream. And I was telling Dia and my daughter, I said, see, no dream of Guruji's can be something just a bizarre dream. It can't be. There has to be some reality to it. And Raji, I'm sure many of you are listening to the satsang on Facebook. There were so many posts that suddenly came up one day in which they are showing that satsang is happening in Rishi Kapoor's house. I'm just saying, how things work, what is the meaning. Sometimes we don't know what's happening in our lives. We don't know why these things are happening. But in hindsight, Guruji lets us know that why certain things are happening in our life. That's another thing. One day she gets a dream where Guruji is just sitting at a table and writing something in a book. And then she says, do you know what he was writing in the book? So I said, no. She says, she calls it Guruji's tagline. I said, what is Guruji's tagline? Blessings always, Guruji? She said, yeah, Guruji wrote that for me. So, like Guruji always said that even one member of the family is connected, the whole family is blessed. So, I would like to now, I can talk about Guruji for days together, but there is a time restriction and I should respect that. So, one thing I would really like to request Sangat who are listening, it's become such a fad now, it's become such a thing. You see it all over Facebook or Instagram or something. They take a swarup of Guruji's and they write, like as a Guruji is saying something, sorry, they say, आपको blessings चाहिए तो आप जय गुरुजी लिखिए, शुक्राना गुरुजी लिखिए, and you see the comments are thousands of people are commented Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji. They have shared it. So what I would like to tell people is please do not write things like that. Guruji never had conditions where we have to write Jai Guruji or Shukrana Guruji to receive blessings. There's no such thing, no conditions. Guruji, without conditions, blesses everyone. Sorry. So that is something that we need to respect a lot, that don't start something new. We have to do the simple things that he has given as human beings to be good human beings, respect everybody, don't have differences between people for any reason, whether it is status or religion or anything. Everybody came to Guruji, everybody was treated equally. So these are something that we need to respect, learn, and even when it comes to doing seva, give everybody a chance to do seva. It's not that, I am the person, I need to be doing it all the time. So there's a lot of things that we need to inculcate. If we are Guruji Sangha, that is not something that is going to remain for life. That is one thing we should remember. There are so many satsangs that I have heard where people who have met Guruji, who have touched his feet, Guruji has come to their house, but it's wiped out like a clean slate from their memory. If you listen to the satsang, it's quite scary because they used to say, पता नहीं कैसे हम गुरुजी को भूल गए इतना सब blessings receive करने के बाद. So this is work in progress constantly. It's not that we can take Guruji for granted. So beautiful satsangs, multilingual group is doing a fantastic job. Bade Mandir Zoom platform is doing a fabulous job. I think we are so blessed that we have so many people working to get all these beautiful satsang stores. I think we should really make the most of it and just follow that path. And like Guruji said, asli cheez, nobody comes and asks. So we are so caught up in our materialistic world कि ये चोला डालें, लंगर में 5 स्टार का खाना बनाएं, decorations में इतना पैसा खर्चा करके, put all the flowers and, expensive things. All that really doesn't matter. Like I said, if you give me another 2 hours to talk, I can talk. I heard a recent satsang where a very poor lady invited Guruji to her house, to her house, and she was staying in a slum. And the uncle who shared the satsang went with Guruji. Two of them went to her house, and she gave Guruji a small muda to sit on because she had nothing in her house, and she had enough dough just to eat 4 rotis, 2 for that uncle and 2 for Guruji. So, even if they wanted a second serving, she didn't have food to give them. Guruji goes to people's houses like that to bless them. So he's not after our cholas and after our grandeur of decoration and, things like that. So I'm not sitting here to preach to anybody, but I think we should be very, very mindful. Mindful is the word, and alert that we are just, like Guruji used to say, matches ki teeli jaise lagte hain. We are just like worms in front of what? The kind of egos that we carry with us. I think that needs to be stopped. We are very, very blessed that, Mahashiv has taken us under his wings, and we should be worthy of his love and affection, and very, very grateful. 2 things that we should do always as Sangat. One is, of course, Shukrana. That goes without saying. The second thing I would urge every Sangat who feels awkward to share satsangs. It's not about how you share it, what language you use. No, it's not about that. You are actually, it's our duty to share what our blessings our Guruji is doing for us. It's a Guru who is he's got so many Sangat all over the world, but he takes care of the minutest things for us, right? So the least we can do for him is share our satsangs. Whenever we get an opportunity, try to see that our blessings, what we have received is, whether it's a person coming to your house, who's got a problem, tell them about Guruji. Tell them the joy in your life. It's wrong to keep this with ourselves and not spread his word to the whole world. I would like to end on that note.
तेरे बिना सुने कोई जज्बात ना, मेरे विच ऐसी कोई गल बात ना।